What if I told you that attracting girls is actually pretty easy? But that primal desire that makes her crave you only happens when you know how to create sexual tension. So in this video, I'll share with you the exact method to create sexual tension without coming across as creepy or giving off unattractive signals that make her friend zone you / call for security. I'm Danny. Once shy and very awkward, my social skills weren't exactly my strong point, but after learning things the hard way, I've now become, dare I say, a more confident and charismatic version of myself. And since 2017, I've been helping guys improve their image, confidence, and social skills, coaching guys just like Steve here so they can meet high-quality, wholesome women. And let's be honest, when it comes to turning on sexual tension, it's not necessarily as easy as it seems. So I'll share with you the exact blueprint of how and when to create sexual tension. Because without sexual tension, your date is essentially just an exchange of information that could probably be handled more effectively via email. So if you've been friend-zoned more times than you care to remember, and you want to know exactly how to turn girls on, this video was literally made for you. And a little disclaimer, if you haven't noticed already, I am a little ill while recording this video, so if I look like I'm going to pass out, it's because I feel like I'm going to pass out. The seduction frame. Your frame needs to be coming from a place of both nice and naughty. The contrast between the two is what creates the excitement and arousal, because you need to understand, for women, sexual tension is essentially an extension of foreplay. You need to seduce her mind before you seduce her body, and if you're in a public place, this is highly advisable. So by starting off nice, you're not being too intense too quick. You're giving her enough time to feel safe, comfortable, and at ease. Then when the time's right, she'll feel that she can trust you enough to turn things sexual. And being nice doesn't mean being boring. It means being rooted in your masculinity. And if you're wondering what the that means, it means you don't look to her to dictate the rhythm. You do things on your own terms, at your own pace. But it can often be the awkward silences and fear of saying the wrong thing that can hold guys back from expressing that naughty side. And I know how it is. You know you need to do something, but you just don't know what. Because you ask her another closed question about her travel plans for this year, she's probably going to implode. So when is the time to turn on the sexual tension? So at the start of the date, you're either going to be in one of three categories. Number one, she likes you and there's instant chemistry. Number two, she's a little bit unsure. And number three, she's not interested. And if that is the case, I'd be questioning how it is that you two came to be on a date in the first place. So for the first 1 to 2 hours, keep things relaxed, maintaining the nice frame. That means no funny business unless you're in the first category. And providing you haven't bored her to death the entirety of those 2 hours, you can expect that she's going to start showing you some signals that she's ready to turn things up a notch or two. These are some obvious green lights. She begins touching you in appropriate places, she introduces sexual topics, she moves closer to you. But if you're still unsure, the best way I've found to see if she's comfortable and attracted is to ask her for a hug. If she's not feeling things just yet, believe me, she's not hugging you, but if she does, you can take this as a positive signal. The golden rule. I remember the first time I ever went on a date with a model, not to flex, but just simply to say it how it is. I was pretty intimidated. I remember the sun was setting, we had gin and tonics in hand on a rooftop. I knew that I needed to turn up the heat a little bit, so I timidly held out my hand, and instead of our fingers interlocking, she simply high-fived me. And what was even worse is that she saw the disappointment in my face, and, well, I quickly changed the subject, as you can imagine. Then as we were leaving the venue, I just thought, fuck it, held out my hand, said take two. She looked at me and held my hand. And that moment taught me something so valuable. You have to own your intentions. It's better to own your intentions as a man than it is to be a permission-seeking little pussy. And as you can tell, I've been both, and trust me, you don't want to be the second. So when Susan says she works in accounting, instead of just nodding your head like a dashboard bubblehead, say something like, accounting, huh? That makes perfect sense. She'll inevitably ask why, because you've finally said something that isn't mind-numbingly predictable, to which you reply with, when I first saw you, I thought, that's a woman who knows her way around an Excel spreadsheet. So now that we know that she's comfortable and we're owning our intentions, what are the steps to turn up the tension? Number 1, start with innuendos. Now, when it comes to innuendos, the goal is not to be Austin Powers or to recycle, that's what she said, after every sentence. It's to create moments where she thinks, did he just say what I thought he said? Here's an example. You, oh, by the way, you look really great in that dress. Her, thanks, it's actually really tight. And that's okay, I'm a big fan of things that are tight. So when you're delivering an innuendo, you can always pause just a little bit before the final delivery, just to emphasize the word itself or the wordplay to create that double meaning, followed by a smile or a raised eyebrow to spell out that you're just being playful. Or you can use the classic misinterpretation.
It's really salty.
It's really salty.
And remember, Casanova, the goal here is to create the sexual tension, not to break the sexual tension by laughing at your own jokes and giggling like a schoolgirl. That's her job. Next, we're going to turn up the tension with deep eye contact. Now, good eye contact doesn't mean staring at the girl until your eyes bleed. Instead, it means holding the gaze a little longer than you would usually. Not in a creepy way, but just in a confident, intentional way. She may even say something like, "Stop looking at me like that." This is just her way of testing how much you're owning your intentions, so don't quickly rush to reply with saying, "Well, Danny told me to." Number 3, slow down. Women will never tell you this, but when you speak too quick, you're implying that when it comes to intimacy in the bedroom, you're going to be a bit too quick there as well. Because if you can't control the way that you speak, how are you going to be able to control anything else? And a little side note in terms of your tone of voice, you don't want to be using too many inflections at the end of your sentences, because if you do, everything's going to sound like a question, and it's not exactly going to give that masculine certainty that we want. Slowly move closer. So start the conversation at a normal distance, then as the tension builds, that's when it's time to slowly get closer. And for me, although this may sound strange, I found the best way to look at sexual tension is a bit like an elastic band that you're slowly stretching out. The longer that you pull, the more tension is created, until it eventually snaps and you become a father. So if you took some value from this video, please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And if you're an introvert struggling a little bit with dating, or you're just simply looking to level up, I'm here to help. There's links in the top line of the description. You can book a free call with me, and I'll see you boys in the next one.